Hello everyone. Chapter 2, we're going to go through these slides real quick. I'm not going to go through all of them. There's some things you could print off, or they're all also in your book. So the first, this chapter is on software development, data types, and expressions. I'm just going to zoom through here. So the first thing we're talking about here is software development process. So software development process of planning and organizing a program has several approaches. One is the waterfall model. So when we talk about the waterfall model, this is, what we want, what programmers usually follow when they start to build a program. So in phase 1, our customer request. In this phase, the programmers receive a broad statement of a problem that is potentially amenable to a computerized solution. This step is also called the user requirement phase. Phase 2 is analysis. The programmer determines what the program will do. This is sometimes viewed as a process of clarifying the specifications for the problem. In the design phase, the programmers determine how the program will do its task. Implementation phase, the programmers write the program. This step is also called the coding phase. Integration phase. Large programs have many parts. In the integration phase, these parts are brought together into a smoothly functioning whole, usually not an easy task. Maintenance. Programs usually have a long life. A lifespan of 5 to 15 years is common for software. During this time, requirements change, errors are detected, and minor or major modifications are made. You can see that the figure resembles a waterfall, in which the result of each phase can flow down to the next. That's over here on the next page here. My slides are not just going here. So it's important to kind of have a waterfall. Sometimes some of you know that, when you have a computer that starts to act funny, there should be a backup somewhere. So you can back it up to an old if there's a mistake detected in one phase, it often requires the developer to back up and redo some of the work in the previous phase. Modification made during maintenance also requires backing up to earlier phases. Taken together, these phases are also called the software development life cycle. So even though you see that it depicts distinct phases, this does not mean that the developers must analyze and design a complete system before coding it. Modern software development is usually incremental and iterative. This means that the analysis and design may produce a rough draft, like a skeleton version or a prototype of a system for coding, then back up to earlier phases to fill in more details after testing. For purposes of introducing this process, however, we treat these phases as distinct. So as you know, your program's not going to just be up and running most of the time on the first try. So there's going to be a lot of maintenance that you'll have to do, but you got to try to do maintenance within each step of the way. This graph shows you a little bit on what they spend most of their time on, the cost. This is the cost. So maintenance is very high in cost. You find these in your book also. Let me go ahead and skip on through here. Strings, assignments, and comments. Text processing is by far the most common application of computing. So that includes email, text messaging, web pages, word processing, all rely on and manipulate data consisting of strings and characters. A data type consists of a set of values and set of operations that can be performed on those values. So the int and float, you guys use that in your first chapter here. If you guys can tell me what is the difference between int and float. Why did you have to use float in, I think it was assignment 1.5? You guys answer that question for me and let me know. want to see if you know what to do. Why you had to enter float instead of int on that assignment. So let's move on to the next one. This shows you the data types here, examples. These are also in your book here. So here's some string literals. You can go ahead and take a look at those. Escape sequences. These are also in your book on page 43. This is you can join two or more strings to form a new string using the concatenation operator plus. So hi plus there plus kin. It's going to say hi there kin. So even if you guys want to go into your Mu editor and try some of these, that's perfectly fine. So you know how to, run some of these. And then there's a lot of examples in your book also. Let's go ahead and move on. Variables in the assignment statement. A variable associates a name with a value, making it easy to remember and use the value later in a program. You need to be mindful of a few rules when choosing names for your variables. For example, some names such as if, def, and import are reserved for other purposes and thus cannot be used for variable names in general. In general, a variable name must begin with either a letter or an underscore and can contain any number of letters, digits, and other underscores. Python variable names are case sensitive, thus the variable weight is a different name from the variable weight, lowercase weight. Python programmers typically use lowercase letters for variable names, but in the case of variable names that consist of more than one word, it's common to begin each word in the variable name, except for the first one, with an uppercase letter. This makes the variable name easier to read. For example, the name interstate rate is slightly easier to read than the name interstate rate without a capital R. Programmers use all uppercase letters for the names of variables that contain values that the program never changes. Such variables are known as symbolic constants. Example of symbolic constants in the tax calculator case are tax rate and standard deduction. We will be doing that too, also that case study. So if you were wondering, once you get to the case study, you can look in your book on page 38, 39, and 40. All the information is there. It will help you. So let's go ahead and move on here. More stuff that you can look at. Variables serve two purposes. Help the programmer keep track of data that change over time. Allow the programmer to refer to complex piece of information with a simple name called abstraction. Program comments and doc strings. Program comments, a piece of program text. So this is the one where I was talking about. Program comments. These are the ones that start with the hashtag. So if there's a hashtag in front of, a sentence or a string of words, those will not be in your program. It's kind of like a sticky note that you're putting in the middle of your program to tell you what it was, or, give you an idea what this is or what it needs to do. Informational. Docstring. Multi-line string of the form. Example. This shows you example down there at the bottom. End of line comments begin with the number symbol and extend to the end of line. Kind of like right here. So it's showing you rate, and then it's telling you here conversion rate of Canadian to US dollars. Just letting you know what this rate is. Tips related to comments and doc strings. You can go ahead and look through those. first applications, computers were to crunch numbers. The use of numbers in many applications is still very important. A real-life range of integers is infinite. Go ahead and look through these here. We have 40 slides and only have 15 minutes, so we're going to go ahead and go through here. Decimal notation or scientific notation. These are also in your book too if you have questions. Yeah, these are all in the book. So let's keep going. A literal evaluates to itself. Variable reference evaluates to the variable's current value. Expressions provide easy way to perform operations on data values to produce other values when entered in Python shell prompt. More arithmetic expressions, precedent rules. This might be very important for you guys. And both errands of expressions are of the same numeric type. The resulting value is also that type. Okay, good to know. Mixed mode arithmetic. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys look through that. Note that int function converts a float to an int by truncation, not by rounding. Type conversion also occurs in the construction of strings from numbers and other strings. Solution. Use str function. Python is a strongly typed programming language. Python includes many useful functions which are organized in libraries or code called modules. Function is a chunk of code that can be called by name to perform a task. Functions often require arguments, parameters. Arguments may be optional or required. When a function completes its task, it may return a value back to the part of the program that called it. To learn how to use the function arguments, use the help function. Help on build and function run and run. You guys can go ahead and try that if you like. Function and other resources are coded in components called modules. Functions like ABS and round from the built-in module are always available to use. You can avoid the use of qualifier, which each reference by importing the individual main module. To running the script from terminal command prompt. A way to run Python script: open the terminal command prompt window. Click in the type here search box, type command prompt, click command prompt in the list. Okay. Run us through this here. Running script from terminal command. If you guys want to try this, you can go ahead and try that. Python installation enables you to launch Python script by double-clicking the files from the OS file browser. May require file to type to be set. So chapter 1 tells you what is going through here. And that's the end of the slide here. I'll be uploading another video to kind of help you guys through, show you how maybe we'll run through one or two of your assignments for this week. So keep an eye out on the resources for by the end of the day here. Today is January 24th. It's 9:30 a.m. So I'm hoping to have another video up in the resources for you guys by the end of the day, going through one or two of the assignments. And like I said, if you're having trouble on the case study, the income tax calculator, all that information is on page 38, 39, and 40. Send those in as soon as you get your work done. Talk to you guys later.